We're where?
Right where we're supposed to be.
Do you have to speak in philosophical riddles?
Oh,
What?
Sorry.
So where are we?
Tower's garage.
Couldn't say that in the first place. Huh?
Oh, it's... I'm anxious, about waiting for the final tabulation, that's all.
It's going to be that close, isn't it, Fletch?
Yeah. Ross, you've fought one hell of a battle, but all you can do for now is just wait. But at least for now, you get to wait with people who love you.
I was going to bring you a rabbit's foot, but I thought you might prefer rubbing something else.
You've always been lucky for me.
Still am.
Ross, I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt, but they're waiting for you upstairs.
Hello, Fletcher.
Hey.
I'll be there in a minute, Fletch.
Okay, I'll tell them. Excuse me?
That was some comeback. But then again, you always have had incredible staying power.
Well, look, I'm not going to claim victory until I hear Leo concede.
Well, I think he'll be doing that very soon.
You had a similar feeling before the story broke about Leo's dirty tricks. How did you know?
Dumbo's feather. Isn't that what it's for? To give you that extra dose of confidence?
Yeah, but that was quite a magnificent stroke of luck, Blake. What did you do?
Ask me no questions and I'll tell you no lies.
That's a very sound piece of advice.
So, how do you want to celebrate?
Blake,
What?
well, they're waiting for me upstairs.
Uh-huh.
And I should be with them when we hear, one way or the other.
Uh-huh.
And who knows, we might get lucky and have a reason to celebrate.
Well, you have my vote. And anything else you want.
That includes so much territory. Maybe I should explore it.
I'm counting on it. But later.
Later, yes. So shall we?
It's your party. You should go in alone.
Blake, you've worked as hard for this as anybody.
And I will get as much satisfaction as anyone. More. But this is your night. Go.
Thank you. By the way, I want to see you first thing in the morning in my office.
Any particular reason?
If I lose, we don't have to hide our feelings anymore. We can be like any other couple.
And if you win?
If I win, make sure you bring in those Washington real estate ads. Happy days on here. The sun is here and...
And it's the projection of all three networks that the winner is your friend and mine, Ross Murray! He's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, and nobody can deny.
All right. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, everybody. What? I don't know about you, but sitting here waiting at the top of the towers for the man of power of the hour, Mr. Ross Muller, our next senator, has made me a little bit hungry. So, we've got a buffet set up in the back. I know a lot of you are ready to eat. Anybody who wants to eat, now's the time, man.
Yeah, okay.
All right?
I can't believe it's over after all these months of campaigning and smiling and talking and kissing little baby cheeks and pressing the flesh.
Well, that was my favorite part.
I don't know, I suddenly feel so free, you know? Like I can do anything I want, whatever the hell I want, or do nothing at all.
Well, I wouldn't let you take it back.
Oh, if I really let me take it. That part.
I couldn't wait for the capital step.
Actually, this makes what I have in store for them all the sweeter. Happy days are here again. The skies above are clear again. Don't you make an attractive couple? Let's raise a glass of cheer again.
Well, this is where you disappeared to, huh?
Oh, I was just getting a breath of fresh air.
Oh, well, take a big, deep one that'll last about an hour, so I want you to come back upstairs.
No, Ross.
Look, I know you're trying to be discreet, Flick, and I appreciate that, but you are not a pariah. You've got a lot of friends in there.
Yeah, but so does Daddy, and that really scares me. Why is he here?
I don't know, and I don't care.
He couldn't have been on the guest list.
Well, he's never honored a guest list in his life.
Well, he and Mom should both be at Flynn's party.
Well, maybe I have better hors d'oeuvres than Leo.
He's up to something, Ross.
Like you...
Ross! Big news bulletin on the tube. Leo Flynn's gonna make an announcement.
He's conceding.
Come on, Ross. Come on.
Okay,
Call
I'll be there in a minute.
All right.
It's done. Your father can't do anything to us.
Hey, everybody,
Thank you very much.
listen up. I think Leo's about to toss in the towel here.
Seeing the news isn't good. We worked hard and ran hard, but we've come up short. The time has come to acknowledge that my opponent has won.
And there's a whole raft of people over there who stuck with me through thick and paper thin, and without whose dedication and hard work I simply would not be here tonight. Thank you. And that brings me to Hampton Speaks and Mr. Billy Lewis, neither one of which will get a kiss, at least not from me. All right, what am I talking about? Of course you get a kiss. All right. Gentlemen, you have my deepest thanks. And I haven't seen her tonight, but I believe that she's here. She is by far the better half of Hampton, the beautiful there you are, Jilly. Jilly, who helped keep the coverage of WSPR even-handed and fair. And, of course, my thanks to the Chamberlains, father and daughter. I don't see father here, Vanessa.
He's at home.
Ah, well, I'll call Henry in the morning, then. And Fletcher Reed, thank you for coming in like the cavalry to save my PR campaign at the very last minute.
reasonable rates.
And thanks to Dr. Ed Bauer. Edward, thank you for your understanding and for keeping me breathing and talking. I really like breathing. And for all of you who work behind the scenes, along with my thanks, you have my love. And now, before this turns into my first filibuster, I will simply say that I will try to serve this state with distinction. Thank you all again. God bless you, and let the party begin. All right.
I'm really glad you came. No, give me a chance to apologize. I went off the other night, and I'm really sorry about that. Really sorry.
Winning certainly turns you into a good sport.
Yeah. Ross, listen, don't forget, promise Jimmy that first interview.
Give me 2 minutes.
No, just one, because we don't want to make the press ornery now, right? All right, okay.
Look, I have to go to WSPR.
Of course you do. Senators have to be accessible.
Tell me, how's your accessibility these days? You, all of you.
Any place, anytime.
Your place. I'll call you right before I leave the settlement. See you there.
All right, let's go. Let's keep this question brief. I will do my best. Okay, now here's the deal. You go over in your limo, I go over with the network guys. I'll see you at WSPR, okay?
Good evening, Senator.
Good evening. See you here.
Careful, darling. We wouldn't want you to catch your death.
What are you doing here?
Just offering a little motherly advice. Don't pack your bags just yet.
And what is that supposed to mean?
You don't really think you're trotting off to Washington, do you? After what you did to your father and me? No, darling. You're not going anywhere.
WSPR, Rob. Going my way? Not bloody likely, Roger.
Then I'll go yours. We'll take a ride together.
Why?
Well, until you're sworn in as senator, you're still the district attorney.
So?
So, you have time for one last case. And it will fascinate you.
All right, Roger, what are you up to?
I want you to look at a videotape. I'm reporting a crime.
Fun party, huh?
Oh, good time was had by all.
Well, you're welcome to stay until the wee hours, but I really have to run alone. Senator Marler and I are planning a private celebration.
I take it that means you're back together.
Part of this celebration, we'll be going over the real estate ads in Washington.
Well, I wouldn't look for anything too senatorial if I were you. A small cottage should fill the bill.
Well, I'm sure that there's a wide range of choices.
But since you won't be going, he won't need the space.
I won't.
Think about it, darling. You've been a very naughty little girl, and Ross simply can't afford you anymore.
Roger, if you want to report a crime, I suggest you go to the police station.
Well, this isn't any ordinary crime, Ross. The videotape shows someone committing a theft
Oh, really, Roger?
of the election.
What?
That Senate seat you just won. It was stolen.
It's late. I'm very tired.
Driver, we'll be having a private chat back here, so put your divider up and keep driving until you're told to stop.
Roger, please.
You're going to want to handle this personally, Ross.
I'm expected at WSPR.
Ask me why. Ask me why this case demands your personal attention.
Roger, if you have something to say...
You know the perpetrator. In fact, the senator-elect has been sleeping with her.
Ross can't afford me?
A lot can happen between now and Inauguration Day, honey.
You just can't stop, can you, Mother? You can't let go. What? Ross won the campaign. You lost. I won. He always thought I was lucky for him.
Always lucky, huh?
And I just proved him right.
Did you?
You bet I did.
How? And how long will it last? You know, darling, when men's luck goes bad, they blame women.
Ross's luck is going bad? Is that what you're trying to say? Oh, for heaven's sake, Mother.
In my experience, it's always been unlucky to go against your father.
No, luck doesn't even enter into this. Ross won the campaign. You can't hurt us anymore.
Why should I need to when you do that so well yourself?
What are you talking about?
Here's a question for you, Blake. If Ross is so thrilled with you, why isn't he here? Where is your champion right now?
Are you saying
Yes.
Blake did something illegal?
It wouldn't be the first time. This time she outdid herself. Also, she got caught.
The tape?
Yeah, taken by security cameras inside Flynn's headquarters.
Oh, dear God, no.
Yep. Let's take a peek, shall we? Note the date. 'Twas the night before election, and uh-oh, a creature is stirring. Hey, how'd she learn to pick a lock? Did she learn that from me? Oh, those rubber gloves are a clumsy touch. They make such beautiful skin-tight ones these days, but as long as she gets results, right? Straight to the file she goes. Oh, did she break that lock? Now that's sloppy. But, hey, effective, I suppose. Quick look through the files, and she has it. Triumph. Doesn't she look proud of herself? She retraces her steps, and curtain. The end. Applause, applause. I give that 2 thumbs up. How would you rate it, Ross?
I have no idea what to say.
I believe that. I also believe a man like you, moral, upright, would want to see justice done.
Yes.
From a legal standpoint, what would you call what you just saw?
Breaking and entering.
Cut and dried.
But what Blake uncovered about Leo Flynn's dirty tricks...
No, that's completely irrelevant. I'm speaking strictly as a layman, of course, so correct me if I'm wrong. Am I wrong?
No.
Breaking and entering.
But there are extenuating circumstances.
What are those?
Well, Leo Flynn authorized the dirty tricks.
How do you know that?
The cover memo. He signed it.
Did you verify the signature? Did you bring in a handwriting expert?
No.
No. See, the fact is, had you verified it, you would have quickly discovered that that signature is nothing like Flynn's. I mean, it's a complete forgery. And the paper is a fraud. So, what it all boils down to is that a loyal supporter of yours broke into your opponent's headquarters and stole a fraudulent document. Why? Wonder what the press will do with that. I can see the headlines right now. One word. Fraud.
I really hate to cut our little chat short, but
Need some time to self-destruct.
I'll tell you what, Mom. Ross is holding a press conference over at WSPR. Why don't you just go check that out while I go warm up my senator's pillow?
You know, I know why you treat me the way you do.
Oh, I hope so, because you deserve it.
But your father doesn't. Was it real easy to betray him, Blake? You know he is devoted to you.
If you think that I'm going to wallow in...
He would do anything for you. He deserved better than this.
Oh, he deserved, you deserved, I deserved. I don't mean to wax philosophical, but that's crock. We deserve what we get.
We'll see if you're still whistling that tune in a few weeks.
And your threats are not going to stop me, that's for damn sure.
I guess not.
Daddy will forgive me. He will.
We'll see.
Oh, what makes you think that he won't?
After your latest,
My latest what? What is it, Mother? What do you think you know?
it's getting late.
Well, for you, maybe. But for me, it's time to go sleep with the senator.
Forgery.
And a sloppy one at that. I mean, amateurish.
This is a setup.
I think I'd like a drink. You want one?
I should have seen it coming.
You don't mind, do you?
You did this.
What?
You planted a phony document in Leo Flynn's office. You laid a few hints to Blake, knowing that she would find it.
You're always thinking the worst of people, Ross.
She would find it and hang herself with it.
Well, she certainly didn't do herself any good, did she? But then she does have a penchant for getting herself caught in the act, doesn't she? Red-handed.
What is it you want, Roger?
Justice. And who better to give it to me than you, the DA? That is still the position you hold, isn't it?
Where are you going with this?
Oh, no, it's still your job to prosecute crimes. Oh, I know. It is embarrassing, isn't it? To put your mistress in jail for helping you, but, hey, the law is the law.
How did you get to be so twisted?
And then there is the small matter of giving up your Senate seat, but easy come, easy go.
What?
It really is a mess, isn't it? I mean, I guess it would necessitate your prosecuting yourself for conspiracy. Can you do that?
You're a sick...
Oh, no, wait a minute. I suppose the Justice Department would handle that.
Conspiracy. To do what?
Well, even if it doesn't stick, I think we can give what's left of your political career a unanimous thumbs down.
Do you hate me that much?
You're not easy to like.
Do you hate me so much you'd send your daughter to jail?
Oh, boy. I am really disappointed in you.
I don't give a damn what you are, Roger.
But how can you miss the point so completely? Good grief, Charlie Brown. It's staring you right in the face.
You don't want me to prosecute Blake, do you?
I would prefer to forget that tape ever existed. And I'm sure you would once you're comfortably ensconced in Washington.
You want me to be your stooge?
I want you to be a splendid senator, voting exactly as I tell you.
Must be the drink talking. You can't possibly be serious.
You know me better than that. I'd hardly be likely to pull your leg.
So you want me to go happily off to Washington and be your lackey?
Who said anything about happiness? I'm sure you'll be miserable. I'm counting on it.
Too bad. It's not going to happen.
It already has.
I'll resign.
Well, that won't solve your problem. See, if you were to quit, the public would demand knowing why.
And you'd have to show them the tape.
Yeah, in the national interest. Boy, imagine your humiliation. Imagine putting Blake on the stand. Well, you'd be hounded from public office. And I don't think private practice would be much of an option either. I mean, who would want to be represented by a fraud? Then there's the matter of disbarment. That's a distinct possibility.
Are you finished?
Hope you have something to fall back on. How are you at pumping gas?
I think you're bluffing.
Well, you haven't lost your sense of humor. That's good, because you're gonna need it.
You wouldn't do something like this to your daughter. It's too cruel.
From the moment she betrayed me, I ceased to have a daughter. You ruined her, Ross. You get to keep her. She's all yours if you want her.
Whenever I think that you've hit bottom, you always sink lower.
One thing even you will admit. You ain't gonna get to the White House with Blake on your arm. One last caveat. I wouldn't let Blake in on our little agreement.
What?
Well, we both know how unstable she is. Oh, man, when she feels threatened...
You and I do not have an agreement.
Well, time will tell, I suppose. On the other hand, you don't have all that much time, do you? A couple of short months before you're swearing in. Just that long to choose between success and infamy. I can wait. raise a glass of cheer again.
What happened?
Happy days are here
Roger.
again. How sweet it is.
Tell me.
Well, Marler has agreed to give you an on-air public apology.
No.
It gets better. He is going to resign and get out of town.
Incredible.
There's more.
Tell me.
You and I are going to be guests of honor at Leo Flynn's swearing-in.
Great.
Everything's falling into place.
And Blake?
For her, too. She's dumped Ross. Couldn't take his selfishness anymore.
That colossal ego of his.
She's coming to work for me.
Oh.
Yeah, she'll be part of my new media empire. Of course, she's going to start at the bottom.
Not at that office right next to yours.
Oh, are you kidding? That space is reserved for my most trusted ally. It's yours, Holly.
Come on, Roger, pick it up.
Washington Love Nest to rent, Georgetown. Definite must-see. Where are you, Ross?
Coming from well behind in the polls to win this big victory. Exiting voters cited Marler's integrity as the deciding factor.
What?
We had hoped to bring you an interview with the senator-elect, but surprisingly enough, Mr. Marler seems to have gone into seclusion. No one seems able to locate him.
What about Flynn?
Poor Leo. He doesn't know what happened to him. But he'll be all right. I'm giving him a job, a better job, a much better job. He won't be any trouble.
You're asking me to sell my soul.
Oh, lighten up, Ross. You're not the first politician who's ever had to compromise. And it's not as if I'll be instructing you how to vote on every issue. There's a select few of interest to me, I promise you. Pull over here, driver. Do the right thing, Ross. Or I'll use Blake to break your heart. Just like you broke mine.
Ross, it's yours truly. Or any way you want me. I'm waiting. Hurry.
Where to now, Senator?
Oh, Blake.
that information you requested about the real estate in the Washington, D.C. area? The information that you were going to look at 12, 13 hours ago, but I don't suppose that a big, bad senator now feels that he can stand a lady up just because he's getting a phone call from the president. Just don't forget that it's the little people like me who got you where you are today, Mr. Big Shot.
It's turned out to be very true.
Whoa, I was kidding, Ross. Ross, what's wrong?
Okay, Roger. Were you going to make me wait all day?
For what?
You know damn well for what. What happened when you showed Ross the tape?
Not much. I gave him some things to think about. He's thinking about them.
Come on, what's going on here? There's supposed to be a new freedom of information between us. I should have known when things got really good, you'd withhold the details.
When things really got good?
Now, what's good about this situation? Tell me that. Name me one thing that's happened during the past week that hasn't turned your stomach.
I'm not suggesting you enjoy it in the usual sense.
I'm not enjoying it in any sense. And see, I guess the fact that you're salivating for the next installment like we're some kind of a mini-series is mildly disturbing to me.
Why? How do you get off being disturbed? You set up the most elaborate ambush in history. You film your daughter committing a crime. You made it almost impossible for her to resist. And I'm crass for wondering what comes next?
I don't feel like gloating. Is that all right with you?
Well, then don't. I'll gloat for both of us. Just tell me what you told him.
All right. Well, first I had to wait for him to digest the fact that he'd won his election under false pretenses. That took quite a while.
I bet, since he thinks he's running the cleanest campaign.
And then I told him that unless he wanted to see the tape played and replayed more times than the beating of Rodney King, that he and I would have to cooperate in certain aspects.
So he drew himself up to full superhero height and said never?
Something like that, until I pointed out to him that were I to release the tape, he'd lose his Senate seat in a heartbeat.
Oh, I bet that gave him pause.
About as much pause as when I speculated that in his final days as DA, he'd be forced to prosecute Blake and send her to prison for committing fraud in his behalf.
Oh. So what alternative did you give him to the sudden and utter ruin of his political career?
Well, I told him he could go to Washington as planned, as long as he understood that he and I would have to continue to be in very close touch.
Meaning?
Meaning that there are certain issues that may arise in Congress that I feel strongly about, issues that affect the regulation of my business interests and the amount of my revenues.
So he has to vote along with you and your business interests. Watch it. You're almost gloating there. But no wonder. It's brilliant. So how long does he have to decide about this?
Oh, that's very generous. I gave him until the swearing in. So, Holly, what do you think he'll do?
You all right?
Fine. I'm just tired. More tired than I've ever been in my life.
Press. How dare they keep you up all night? They've robbed you of that winning glow.
I don't feel like a winner. Not at all.
Well, I think it's just the letdown after all the excitement. You've been running on high speed for a long time. Time to take the pressure off. What can I do?
Nothing. You've done quite enough for me already.
Well, I think you need sleep. I think you should go home and forget all about your phone calls and go home. Or come back to my place.
No.
I mean, I've got a million people to thank. I have to talk with the governor again, and I can't put all that off just because I got a bad night's sleep.
Well, I never would have suggested it. It's just that I've never seen you like this before. Especially on a day I thought you'd be walking on air.
I thought I'd be walking on air myself.
Well, you'll get that feeling back again.
Will I?
Sure, you'll get a second wind. You'll take a look at this fabulous townhouse with a roof garden and a pond filled with Japanese carp, and you'll think, I did it. I'm going to Washington. What, you don't like the fish pond? Forget the fish pond. Look, there's someplace even closer to Capitol Hill, and it's bigger, too. You haven't exactly said how big of a place you had in mind. In other words, it kind of depends on how many people are going to be living there.
Yes, Mary.
I have the governor on line 3. Oh, and I rescheduled your interview with Jilly Grant. It was supposed to start 10 minutes ago.
Tell the governor I'll be right with him. Tell Jilly I'm sorry, but I can't make it today. I gotta take this phone call right away.
Of course you do. Of course you're going to be senator, and I have to get used to that, don't I?
If I'm going to be a senator.
If you won, whether you like it or not, Ross. I'm so happy for you, Ross. I'm so proud of you. Will you call me later? I don't care how late it is. Just try to take a look at this, too. It might get you back into that victory frame of mind. I love you, Ross.
I don't know what Ross will do. He's wanted this all his life. But you have designed his own circle of hell. No matter what he does, he suffers.
Except what?
It surprises me that you haven't made any kind of considerations about Blake. I mean, what if he decides to be your man in Washington and he takes her with him?
I think he'll do just that.
Is that all right with you? Not only is she going to be with a man you loathe, she'll be far enough away you'll see her on alternate Christmases if
I
then.
don't think it'll come to that.
You've always said that after all the time you lost with her, you'd never allow another major separation. Are you moving to Washington, too?
Why? Would you miss me, Holly?
I can't believe you let her go.
Oh, Ross will do the letting go. Blake will be back home where she belongs before he answers his first roll call.
I don't know. I'm not so sure.
Think about it. Every time he looks at her, he'll be reminded how he got his job. That a felony was committed in his name. You know how that will eat away at someone with Ross's legal conscience. How can he help but blame her? See, she loved him enough to risk everything for him. But if he ends up having to take orders from me, words can't describe how he will resent her for putting that leash around his neck.
Yes, love doesn't survive with a leash or under a constant diet of resentment.
That's what I'm banking on.
So Chrissy returns broken-hearted to her daddy's arms. And then what?
I wish I could spare her the broken-hearted part. But she chose Ross Marler. I'm sorry, but she's going to have to learn the hard way that he's not worthy.
Won't the joke be on us if he is? If he loves her enough to overcome everything.
Some joke.
Isn't this odd? I never thought I would reach the point in my life where you are the only person who understands me.
Sharing a child will do that.
Yeah, but we never really shared her before. We fought over her. She was some sort of symbol. We did everything but agree on who she was. Now you know her like I know her. Welcome to parenthood without Novocaine. Oh, ain't it grand?
Yes, Dan, that's probably true. The next time we talk, I'll probably be on the Capitol step. Look, I just called to tell you that I appreciate all the work you did for me in the campaign. Yeah. Bye. Marion was supposed to call you. Didn't she reach you?
She reached me.
Oh, well, then you know that I can't make it today.
I know that's what you said, but I am here to remind you that this interview is something you promised me 3 months ago.
Yeah, I know that, but a lot has changed since then, Julie.
Oh, yeah, I know. You won. Jilly, you have my word. If I win this sucker, you will get an exclusive right away. Does that ring a bell?
Those were words uttered by a fool who didn't know what the day after an election would be like.
I know. That's why I've arranged to have you transported to and from WSBR in a comfortable chauffeur-driven limousine. And I promise this entire process, transportation, interview, will only take 1 hour. Now, does that sound fair?
That sounds very fair, but I have a better idea. Get a camera crew over here.
I'm sorry, Ross. All the news crews are out on assignment already. It's got to be at the studio.
I know. WSPR is not your favorite place, but I am conducting this interview. Not Holly and not Roger.
Jilly, that I understand.
You know, frankly, don't quote me on this, but I don't see how you can resist.
Resist what?
Rubbing Roger's nose in the fact that you won. He tried everything in his power to undermine your candidacy, but you still beat the pants off Leo Flynn. You know, if it were me, he wouldn't be able to turn around without me being in his face. Senator, he can't touch you now. Just relax and enjoy it.
Grady, you are always so funny. I don't know. Hi, William.
Blake, how are you?
I'm okay. Listen, is my father busy or can I just go in?
Well, he's with someone right now. Can you wait a few minutes?
Sure.
Okay.
Waiting for Daddy, are we?
Yes.
Well, I hope you brought your knitting. He's going to be a while.
Important client?
No, your mother. They've been there for over an hour.
Gee, I think that there was a time when they didn't even speak.
Oh, really? How long did that go on for?
Oh, not long. 17, 18 years. She has this little tendency to hold a grudge.
I'm surprised. I thought because they were business associates that their divorce must have been amicable. Though Roger's never been inclined to talk about it, so I've never been inclined to ask.
And what would you ask if you were inclined?
I don't know, something simple like, is he disillusioned with marriage and does he have a jaded view of women?
Well, I'd have to say yes and yes. Although he might say otherwise, and his otherwise might not be entirely truthful.
Oh.
He has no objection to lying if the truth is too much trouble. A trait I've inherited, I'm sorry to say. Then again, I suppose a few fibs wouldn't bother somebody who steals jewelry for a living.
That depends on the fib. And by the by, I don't steal anymore.
Oh, that's right. Roger pays the bills.
I'm not with your daddy for the sake of my rent either.
The power thing, then. Authoritative men turn women on. I saw it illustrated in Madonna's new book.
Oh, well, that explains why you fell so hard and fast for Marla. He's going to be senator, and there'll be lots of power to throw around then.
Oh, no, I could care less about that.
Oh, come on, Blake. Older man, younger woman. What other attraction could there be?
Maybe I like the way he thinks. Or the way he teases me, or cooks for me, or sings in his shower.
Or maybe you like the way he looks after you. Or the way he sees right through you and then laughs about it. Or the way he surprises you by being tender when you least expect it. Yes, you see? There are other qualities to love about an older, more powerful man than just power.
I wouldn't expect anything terribly long-term when it comes to my father, Jenna.
Your father? I wasn't talking about your father. I was just making a point.
Point taken. Well, looks like they're still in there. I suppose that should say something to us, or what? I haven't the faintest idea. I've always been clueless as to what keeps my parents coming back for more. I've seen his face when she enters a room, and there's always this terrible aching, like he's trying to find the words to say something to her to make up for a time when he hurt her very badly. If he ever found the words, she ever stopped being angry long enough to listen. Who knows?
Tell her I'll be another 5 minutes waiting. Thank you.
I didn't expect her to turn up on your doorstep quite so soon.
Maybe she's here to confess.
Are you serious?
You don't think that's possible?
She broke into someone's private office and stole private property. I think this is a very bizarre time to be expecting her redemption.
Listen, she is capable of facing her faults and asking forgiveness. She is capable of being truly and deeply sorry. We all are. What's the matter? You don't believe that?
I don't know about that.
I know what it is to feel like killing, to start over, to wipe the slate. Send her in, William. If Blake wants that from me, it'll be my pleasure to give it to her.
You are such a mass of contradictions.
Part of my charm.
I didn't say that.
Are you finished?
Yeah. All done.
Not important. Certainly not as important as what's on your mind. Tell me.
This is hard. I really don't know where to begin. But I was up all night worrying about it. It's about the election.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
I have to get back to the office now.
All right.
Without answering my question?
Ross has already answered about 1,000 questions today, and I promised him he could be back in his office within an hour. Please don't make a liar out of me.
I wouldn't dream of it, but I'm sure you've got time for a few words in my office.
Holly, I am not going to stay.
If you leave, I will tell everyone what I know about your so-called victory right now, right out loud. Is that what you want?
Obviously, Roger wasted no time cluing you in.
I just want you to admit that I warned you.
Mm-hmm. Which warning is this? There have been so many.
About Blake being expensive, and I didn't mean she'd be nagging you for a diamond bracelet.
All you want to do is find 500 reasons to say, I told you so. Now, what is that going to accomplish?
It's very good for me. I get to think back and to recall this self-righteous protest of yours that I was incapable of understanding what true love was. I get to compare that proud suitor to what stands before me now. Terrible, I know, but oh, it feels so good.
So does sucking your thumb, but most people grow out of it.
If you're accusing me of being childish, Ross, I would re-examine what does it mean to jeopardize a lifelong dream for a girl young enough to be your daughter, a girl I'll bet you're growing tired of.
You have no idea what my feelings are for Blake. And that scares you, so you want to put them in a safe little box so they don't jump up and bite you.
Are you going to tell me you don't despise her just a little bit for taking your fate and playing God with it?
No. I would never despise Blake. Never. Anyway, hate, I leave to you.
You think this is going to be one desperate act and that's over? No, Ross. There will be others. She lives to control, just like Roger. She tried it with me. She's tried it with you. She's trying it with Roger. Did you know she's in his office right now?
So what if she is?
Let's see what she's saying to him. It goes something like,
I know how much you were hoping that Ross wouldn't win.
And then he'll say,
It means a lot to me to know that you understand.
I just want everybody to be happy, all the people that I care about.
I know.
Daddy, I can't stand being torn in so many different directions. I mean, one minute I'm bursting with joy for Ross, and the next I can't help but think how terribly let down you must feel. Your plans for the towers and all of that bone-breaking work for nothing.
That pretty much covers it.
Well, when I was trying to sleep last night, I couldn't help but think that maybe there are some unexpected benefits in this for you.
You'll forgive me, I tell you that sounds very much like wishful thinking.
Well, no, listen. Part of the reason that Ross has always gotten in the way is that he's here. All the issues that put you at odds are here. Mother and me, and whatever. But when Ross goes to Washington, all that will dissipate. He'll have much larger issues to concern himself with, and whether or not you put up a few buildings in Springfield, you may feel freer than you've felt in years.
Unless you go with him.
What?
Well, this tremendous liberation that I'm supposed to feel when Ross gets out of town, won't it be slightly marred if he takes you with him?
Well, Ross and I haven't really discussed my going yet.
Please. I have eyes. I watched you watching him at the party.
I know. I know you saw me. And I'm not going to hide the fact that now that the election's over, I want to start seeing him again. Daddy, I won't lie to you. I probably would go to Washington if Ross asked me. But he's going to be so busy, and when he's busy, I'll be back here. Just hanging out. I'll probably be here 2 weeks out of every month. You're not going to get rid of me that easily.
Gotta hand it to you, Chrissy. You've certainly developed a knack for putting a good face on things.
Not everything.
No, not everything. But we can't expect miracles, can we?
Please don't be so sad, Daddy. I told you I'm going to be a jet setter. I'll be here all the time.
Oh, you won't. You don't need your parents the way you used to.
Oh, Daddy, I'll never stop needing you.
Oh, I'd love to believe that. I would love to believe that you could come to me with anything, that there was nothing in this world that you would ever be afraid to tell me.
Well, you've always made me feel like I could come to you.
I hope so. People get scared sometimes, you know. People get themselves into jams sometimes, even when they're supposed to be grown up enough to know better. And they're just afraid that nobody will understand. You ever feel like that?
Yeah, I have.
I will understand, Chrissy. I love you. And nothing you do can ever change that. Nothing.
I love you too, Daddy. I should let you get back to work.
Got nothing pressing. I'd much prefer to talk to you.
Well, Jenna's outside. She's been waiting a long time. I'll call you later.
Okay.
You've got that sad look again.
I'll get over it.
Promise? Daddy, I love you.
Holly, look at yourself. You're acting out the parts, creating scenarios. This is not the high school play.
How much you liked all that high school stuff? Why else would you be sneaking around with Blake?
Every time I see you now, the memory of what you used to be grows more and more faint.
I'm the same person I always was. I just never had so much to be disgusted by. Puts me in a nasty mood, I will admit.
It's not a mood, Holly. You're just full of vengeance and poison.
Don't be so dramatic. You sound like a trailer for a horror movie.
That's exactly what it's like. And I'm watching a good person turn into something strange and mangled, and I don't think you realize how different you've become.
You beat me up and left me for dead, Ross. I have every right to be a little mangled on the edges. But you choose to forget. You brought it on. You hurt me. And you hurt Roger. Now, I know you've never considered him as very human. Just another one of those mangled, strange creatures. But you should have seen him staring at that monitor, watching his daughter sell him out for you. His anguish was human.
Well, welcome back. You've come full circle. Holly and Roger, together again, still crazy after all these years. I think you feel closer now to that psychopath than you ever have. But now you're taking it one step further. You are becoming Roger. And soon there will be nothing left of you at all. For years, I warned you that your world revolved around Roger Thorpe. At least now you admit it.
I'm not admitting anything.
Might be a little late, though. Jenna Bradshaw seems very firmly in the picture.
Roger doesn't care about her. She's a toy.
For somebody who doesn't admit to her umbilical connection to this man, you're very interested in Roger's love life. I hope the two of you live happily ever after. You certainly deserve each other.
Ross, I'm so sorry.
It's not your fault, Jill.
Yes, but I swore I would have you back in your office within an hour. I just assumed that Holly would still be at lunch.
Jilly, it's okay.
All right. Well, this came for you. Maybe it'll make you feel better.
What a beautiful, blunt object. Figures. Looking forward to working together, Roger Thorpe.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Every time you television. Thank you very much. I appreciate your
Well, there they all are, fawning over him. I think it's rather disgusting. Shall we go somewhere else?
What, in Miss Ross's hour of triumph?
Ross hasn't sunk in yet? Sunk in? No, not really. Not really.
This is way too cool. Now I know a real senator.
You know, you just squeaked by and the final tallies are in the papers this morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You know, that bad press and Leo Flynn definitely put you right over the top.
Just goes to show you that a good guy can't come out on top. I'm going to buy a round for everybody. What are you drinking?
The most expensive thing you can buy.
I think it's time I go congratulate you.
The thing I love about you, Roger, you're such a gracious loser.
Well, you know, winning is in the eye of the beholder. Blocking my path.
You don't miss a trick, do you, Raj?
It's true. I didn't count them, but there must be at least 100 phone calls you've gotten already. You got the AFL-CIO, you got the NRA, you got the Liberal Americans for Democratic Action, you got the swine lobby. Yeah, it's true, Senator, that in our fair state, we lead the nation in pork chop production.
Swine, isn't it perfect? Everybody queuing up, getting in the head of the line. I haven't even taken office.
Well, what did you expect?
I didn't expect to go to Washington, support a bunch of special interest groups. I wanted to go to Washington and fight for what I believe in, pursue the issues that I ran on in the campaign.
Well, yeah, sure. But, I mean, this is how it happens. I mean, everybody tries to get the best deal that they can. I mean, this is the natural facts of life, and you deal with it. I mean, come on, you sound like you're selling out or something.
No, I'm just beginning to realize how naive I was.
No, look, see, no one man can perform miracles, and the voters understand this. They do. See, look, the way I understand it, my belief is that the best a politician can do is that he can compromise here and there a little bit, you know, and then accomplish those few important things that he really feels about.
If that, Fletcher.
No, wait a minute. I don't... You won, remember? I mean, this is what you've been working months for here. So, you're going to be a part of history now, Ross. Think about it.
It will be historic.
Then why don't you look happier?
No, it's just a post-partisan letdown after the big buildup of the election, plus the way things came out in the press.
Trust me, this too shall pass. Now, will you do me a favor? Please force yourself, if you have to have a good time here, because there's going to be plenty enough time for everybody, especially you, to take care of all the world's problems, my son. Now, excuse me. Have fun, smile, sparkle.
Just a reminder, I want that historic preservation bill that affects waterfront rezoning to be your first order of business when you get to Washington. You've got to keep both towers on schedule.
Don't you dare give me orders.
What do you think of it? I want us to get along. We'll be working together.
Let's go somewhere private. We have a few things to straighten out.
Meeting someone?
Actually, I'm looking for Roger.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's very busy tonight.
Oh, I think he'll talk to me.
Holly, your insistence to speak to Roger every 5 minutes about your daughter or work or any other flimsy excuse you can come up with is running very thin right now. Why don't we put our cards on the table? You want him back, don't you?
Of course not. Ridiculous.
I don't think it's ridiculous.
Your insecurity is showing.
As is your desperation.
Honey, if I wanted him back, you would be no obstacle. Enjoy it while you can. It won't last.
Well, you have to excuse my mother. She has this problem dealing with other women. Nothing personal. I should know.
Thank you. Roger, I've had it with you. Don't come up to me in public
You're being overly sensitive.
If you think that you're going to blackmail me, forget it.
Blackmail? We're negotiating. Ross, there isn't a person in politics who hasn't had to deal with someone they disliked. If you expected otherwise, you were deluding yourself.
And if you think I was going to go to Washington and wait for your call and tell me how to vote, that's delusionary.
You're looking at this the wrong way. It needn't be all this unpleasant. Stop focusing on the negative. Start thinking about all the good you can do once you take office. I'm not asking all that much. On 99% of the issues that come up, you vote your conscience. I'm truly only concerned with legislation that affects the zoning of our dear waterfront. It won't take that much to make me happy, and you shouldn't mind making the effort after all, because my daughter got you elected.
You just have no conscience when it comes to your daughter. I thought you'd change when it talks about Blake. But no. You used her in the most perverse way.
Well, it can be argued both ways, but it's a moot point, isn't it?
Daddy, Ross, could you two just try to get along for my sake?
Honey, I have been out here trying to persuade Ross that we can deal with each other, trying to strike some sort of a compromise, but he will not budge an inch. Frankly, I'm all talked out. You're welcome to give it your best shot.
Ross, I know you hate him, but it'll get much better when we get to Washington. You'll never have to see him again. I just can't wait till we get a fresh start and you get into your routine and... Ross, what is it? Ever since the election, you've been looking at me like you don't know me or something.
I'm not sure that I do. I've been trying to figure out why you did it. I can't.
Ross, of course you know me. I love you. I would do anything for you.
Even break the law to win me this election.
Baby.
Do we still have a date?
Yes, sure. Sure. I was worried that you weren't going to show up, you know?
If I don't want to fight with you.
Me either, Jilly. Look, it's nothing more important than us. There's nothing more important to me than you. We can't let outside things come in and just take over, you know?
I'm so sorry, sweetheart.
No, it was me. I mean, I was stubborn, bone-headed, jumping...
No. It's nobody's fault, honey. I just don't want us to get into that habit of saying things to each other that hurt each other, you know? I've seen it happen with other people.
You're okay. It's really okay. If it's any consolation, I've been pretty miserable to be around all day.
You too?
Yeah, I've been talking to myself, throwing things around, crabbing at everybody. It must be love, huh?
It must be.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah?
Perhaps I can have our music department play something nice and slow so the two of you can dance nice and slow.
Yeah, but I'm on duty, man.
No, you're not. I'm on duty now. Come on, I'll take over here. This place can't be that much different from the Blue Moon, can it?
Not too much different. Thank you. I get a good one.
I love it when you do that.
Do you love it? Thanks, man.
Go ahead.
Right, you having a heart-to-heart with Blake out there in the back porch about her boyfriend?
I don't think it's any of your business.
Well, just commiserating one dad to another. I mean, how's it feel having your daughter going out with a man you think's worse for her than the whole world?
You made your point. This is beneath you.
Just getting down to your level. What's it going to take? When you going to learn this?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You've driven away all the people that are close to you, and you let your daughter be dragged through the mud and the front page of that rag, the whole world can see it, and you say you love her. I think you've done her the kind of hurt that she's never going to forget.
Why did you do it? What in the world was going through your mind?
Ross, you were falling behind in the polls. I couldn't stand it because I knew it was my fault. You had this whole thing locked up before we became public knowledge. I just wanted to fix everything. I wanted to make it right.
So you broke the law.
I knew how much winning meant to you.
I didn't want it this way. I didn't want to win the damn election this way. Do you have any idea what you've done? If this comes out, I have to resign.
But it won't. It's not going to come out.
Aren't you curious as to how I know?
Was it the police investigation?
No.
Ross, are you going to be forced to step down?
I haven't been forced to do anything yet, but the more I think about it, my best option is to resign.
I don't understand then.
What do you think Roger was doing here? What do you think he was negotiating? Seating for Thanksgiving dinner?
Dad knows.
Blake, he planted that document. He put a security camera in the office. Now he has everything on videotape. You breaking and entering, stealing what turns out to be a phony document from Flynn's office. There never was a campaign to smear me.
He set me up. He let it slip that there might be something, and I fell for it.
It was a test. A bizarre ritual concocted by your dear old dad.
In order for him to use this breaking and entering against you, he would have to send me to jail.
Yes. And since I'm still the district attorney, I would be the one to prosecute you. That's a nice touch, isn't it?
Oh, he would never do it.
If you think he'd pass up that opportunity, you don't know your father at all.
Yes, I do. I do. Better than you do. Maybe he is just threatening you because he just can't get over the fact that we're together.
This time you betrayed him again, and in the worst way, Blake. You failed his test.
But if push came to shove, he would not send me to jail.
Like he would.
No, really, think about it. He couldn't even leak our affair to the press because of how much it would hurt me.
That was the first time, Blake. How much do you think that man could take? Right now, I think he is capable of anything, including sacrificing you. Now, he has told me he's going to use that tape. Unless I do as I'm told. Unless I vote as I'm told. Now, do you understand what you've done? If I become senator, Roger owns me.
Ross, I won't let it happen.
There is nothing either one of us can do about it.
I will go to him.
No, you won't.
Yes, I will talk to him. You are not going to get caught in the middle of my punishment for being disloyal.
Right, this has nothing to do with you. Roger wouldn't care if you came crawling to him on hands and knees. He has got me right where he wants me.
Well, I will make him listen.
No, you won't, Blake! Well, Governor, I'm not sure when I'm going to be leaving for Washington. I still have a few things to take care of here. Oh, yes, sir, I intend to serve the people of this state to the best of my ability. No, sir, I will not let them down. Thank you very much.
You can't go in there.
Nonsense. I tried to keep her out, but she wouldn't listen.
It's very important that I speak to you.
Marion, it's all right.
The reporters are arriving for your press conference.
We'll amuse them for a few minutes. All right, whatever it is, make it quick.
Oh, all right then. A quickie.
As you know, Ross, I'm about to be deported any day now. So I would do anything if you would intervene on my behalf. Anything at all.
Miss Bradshaw, I am not interested in your sexual charms.
Now, who said anything about sex? Marla, I know exactly what turns you on. It's having Roger Thorpe out of your life for good. And I'm the very woman who can do that for you.
Holly, I just checked the assignment sheet. Nobody's covering Marlar's press conference.
Oh, I'm covering it.
Nothing about the videotape, okay?
Don't worry, I won't be so obvious. Just a few subtly pointed questions make him squirm.
Not too much. Want him to be my man in Washington.
Oh, he will be. That Senate seat means more to him than a few concessions to you.
You do love your revenge, don't you?
It's the only fun I have lately.
You need to get out more. Don't I remember something about Leo Flynn taking an intense interest in you?
Losers don't interest me, only winners.
Give the senator-elect my regards.
Oh, I will.
to me, Dad. How could you set up your own daughter? Ross told me everything. If he doesn't do what you want him to do, then you're going to release that videotape of me breaking into Flynn's office?
Shouldn't have done that.
But you set me up. You planted a phony memo, knowing how I feel about Ross, knowing how much I would do anything to save this election for him. How could you do that?
That's enough. Haven't you got this backwards? I thought I was hurt as much as I possibly could be when I found out that you were sleeping with Ross. But you lied to me. You told me it was over, that you'd come to your senses. It was all a wretched mistake. And I gave you.
Well, why did you set the trap then?
I never thought you'd do it.
I don't understand this.
I wanted to prove to your mother that she was wrong about you. She kept saying what a fool I was to trust you, that you were lying about being over Ross. But I wouldn't listen to her. That night, watching you on that video monitor was a very long night for me.
You forced me to make a choice. I love Ross. I couldn't let you destroy him.
So you let him destroy me. You break my heart, Chrissy.
What do you mean, help me with Roger?
Oh, I suppose that depends on you.
Do you mean spy on him?
Spy is such an ugly word. I would much prefer we say go-between. I think that every senator should have a friend who is as close a friend to Roger as I am.
So you're willing to sell him out just so you can stay in this country? Whatever happened to true love?
I never said that I would sell him out, as you so crassly put.
Well, then I don't have time to play games. Excuse me.
Ross, really, honestly, I just need your help.
Look, I told you before, I have no influence with immigration.
Well, that was when you were district attorney. Now you are about to become senator, so surely there's something you can do, especially if it means getting rid of your arch enemy in the process.
How?
I haven't exactly worked out the details yet, but first I need to know, do we have a deal?
And how do I know you're just not working for Roger?
You don't.
I get it. I'm simply supposed to trust you.
Why don't you try me first? And then we'll talk about trust.
Yes.
All of the reporters are here, sir.
Well, Marion, just give me a few more minutes, please. Okay. You have to go now. And I would appreciate if you'd do me a favor. Try not to let anyone see you.
Do we have a deal?
I'll think about it.
Don't think too long, Ross. My visa's running out quickly. Excuse me.
Okay, Marion, you can send them in. Hi. Come on in, everybody. Hi, Jim. Good to see you. There's coffee here for anybody interested. Oh, by the way, you had a very good piece in the Daily Mirror on welfare reform. I liked it.
Thanks. Say, about Blake Thorpe.
Well, I'd rather not discuss that, Jim, if you don't mind.
Off the record.
Oh.
You taking him to Washington with you?
That I don't know.
She did work on your campaign until that stuff about your relationship came up, and she was spotted at your victory party on election night. Come on, Ross. What's going on with you and Blake Thorpe?
Oh, yes. I think we'd all like to know.
So you win anyway, Dad. Ross can't even look at me knowing what I did. It's over. So are you going to send me to jail?
It's up to Ross. He's still the district attorney.
If that videotape goes public, he'll have to forfeit the election. And if he doesn't prosecute me, then you are going to hold that tape over his head and make him do what you want him to do in Washington. You've backed him into a corner.
I didn't put him there. You know, there was a time when I would have done anything for your happiness. When everything I did was focused on your future. The future of our family. And I shared those dreams with you.
and you led me to believe that you shared them with me. And then you went and you allied yourself with the one person who would do anything in his power to destroy that future. See, I suppose there's a certain irony in all this. Ross's desire to destroy me may very well end up destroying you.
So you're just gonna sit back there, even if it means sacrificing me? Your own daughter? You're just gonna let me go to jail?
Oh, Ross won't prosecute, and not because he cares about you, but because he cares about his little Senate seat so badly.
No. Not if holding on to it means selling out to you.
You overestimate him, as usual. He'll sell his soul to hold on to it.
And I'm looking forward to working together with my fellow senators in a bipartisan effort to finally get a national health care program in place for everybody in this country who needs it. Now, as always, it's been a pleasure, and if there are no more questions, have a good evening.
One question, Mr. Marler.
Yes, Miss Lindsay.
Do you foresee any circumstances under which you would forfeit your Senate seat and not go to Washington?
Why are you asking?
Just let me respond to that for a minute. I don't see how anybody could think I would be stepping down for any reason. I worked very hard to win this election, and I am going to go to Washington and serve the people of this state to the best of my ability for the next 6 years, period. I hope that settles the matter. Now then, I want you all to have a good evening, and we'll do this again next week, huh? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's good to see you, Jim.
Nice to see you.
All right, nice to see you. Thank you. Take care. Thank you. I'll need it. Good night, everybody. What the hell were you trying to do just now?
Just looking for a scoop, Senator.
If you leak anything about that videotape, Holly.
You must admit it's a hot story. Marler in anguish, his lover or his career.
This is none of your business.
Come on, off the record. What's it going to be?
All right, Holly, if you'll excuse me, I have work to do.
Just one more question. You sounded so sincere about going to Washington.
I am.
May I tell Roger you've made your decision?
I haven't made any decision yet.
You and I both know the only way you're going to get to Washington now is by traveling in Roger's back pocket.
Not necessarily.
Oh, you'll come around. Your integrity doesn't hold a candle to your ambition. It's rather ironic when you consider how you used to look down your hypocritical nose at Roger for exactly the same thing.
What's ironic, Holly, is that you profess to hate Roger. Now you're becoming exactly like him.
Having a bad day? Well, if it's any comfort, your boyfriend, or is it ex-boyfriend, having a bad day, too. I was just over at his office. He's getting very adept at press conferences. Of course, the two of you have such a weakness for seeing yourselves on film.
I know that you talked Daddy into setting that trap for me. So what did you hope to gain?
Revenge.
If I didn't hate you so much, I would feel sorry for you. You're so miserable and lonely, you don't want to see anybody else happy. If you think that there's a chance in hell that you're going to get Ross back,
You're wrong.
I don't want him back.